Anyways, so I told Hatchet this before you came in, Jerry. They updated the Scarlet King's proposal.
Oh.
Yeah. Anyways, the Scarlet King, a mysterious god of immense power, often bringing out and representing blind rage, savageness, and the worst of humankind. As such, this allows for skips to be brutal and get to the heart of what the Foundation does and why they do it. Appears in... We're not reading that one.
231, isn't that the brides?
Yes. Yeah, the reason why I say there's new, because last time I read it, there was only phase 1, 2, and 3, but now there's just this right here.
Huh.
Yeah.
Now, so Keil, when we're saying like something's proposal, it's meaning that it's proposal for SCP-001. There's multiple SCP-001 proposals.
Yeah, there's no definite 001.
Yeah. Also, why the fuck is this safe?
I actually do know. You'll find out. Alright.
Okay.
Item SCP-001, Object Class Safe. Special Containment Procedures. Following the recent investigations of Dr. Robert Montauk, no action is currently needed to contain 001. It is functionally self-containing, and any Foundation interference may harm or alter its containment irreversibly. No Foundation personnel are to engage with any new matters related to 001, with the exception of related anomalies already in the Foundation's containment. Description: 001 is an entity ordinarily referred to as the Scarlet King. 001 is currently located in several alternate dimensions simultaneously and is unable to enter into the Prime Dimension. However, it is believed that to have been repeatedly attempting the entry for a period of under 300 years. 001's physical, mental, and conceptual properties are unknown to the Foundation. Nevertheless, it continues to exert a strong influence on a number of individuals and events within the Prime Dimension. It is believed that 001's existence represents an ongoing but dormant Chashkent-class cross-pollination scenario. A K-class scenario wherein the imminent alteration of reality or eradication of all human life is caused by the interaction between two anomalous objects of a radically different type. Should 001 attempt to enter the Prime timeline, an irreparable alteration to normalcy will occur. Containment of 001 is, however, unnecessary. Any attempt to alter 001's classification or object class will result into immediate dismissal from the O5 Council. References in art and oral tradition to 001 appear across a wide variety of human and non-human cultures across the universe, including in communities which have never previously had any contact with one another. Common descriptions within these traditions are of a red creature of immense size, ordinarily wearing a golden crown or other headdress signifying royalty. Although the names ascribed to 001 vary, the majority contain two elements: a word signifying some form of royalty, combined with a word signifying the color red. Cultures which do not have a concept of the color red, but follow this naming pattern, universally use a color analogous to the English concept of the color red. Most personnel, except those working on anomalies related to 001, possess no knowledge of the entity. As part of 2317's containment procedures, level 4 personnel are to be informed that 2317 is in fact 001. With the exception of Dr. Robert Montauk, project lead on 001, 231, and 2317. The truth of this is unknown, although it is a hypothesis which has received strong support among several members of the Council. The apparently multi-dimensional nature of 001, however, renders the possibility of 2317 being anything more than a single aspect of 001 unlikely. It is unknown when 001 was discovered. The loss of several archives concerning the Foundation's origins in an 1889 Starling coup has prevented a full reconstruction of events, although an investigation shortly following data expunged, a variety of groups dedicated to bringing 001 into the Pride Dimension have existed over the years. The most recent of these has been the Children of the Scarlet King, which has destroyed in a joint GOC SCP operation in January 2018. Its former leader, Depeche Spivak, is currently in Foundation custody under the designation of Point of Interest 3172. Update, January 6, 2018. 001 has recently been the subject of extensive investigation by Dr. Robert Montauk, project lead on 001, 231, and 2317, and advisor of Procedure 110 Montauk. Based on results of this investigation, 001 has been downgraded to safe following a decision taken by the O5 Council. Upon the request of the former O513, a number of documents related to this investigation can be found below. In order to provide context for further information pertaining to this theory, those have been curated, categorized, and included by the former O513 herself, with the permission of O51 in order to provide some context to this reevaluation. Phase 1, Blood. Document 1. Following is an interview between Dr. Robert Montauk and Point of Interest 3172. Date, January 4th, 2018. Interviewer, Dr. Robert Montauk. Interviewee, Point of Interest, Person of Interest 3172. Location, Site 713, Interview Room 2. Again, Dr. Montauk, I don't understand what you people want from me.
Hello to you too, Depeche. I'm sorry to do this to you again. I think it's silly too. To be honest, what we want for you is answers.
It's been, what, weeks, months? You dragged me down here into one of your interview rooms and asked me these endless questions, you or one of your lackeys.
I'm sorry. If you've been made to feel uncomfortable, it wasn't my intention. But it's hard to keep tabs on everything anymore. Have the gods been treating you badly in any way?
No, not really. Can't really complain. It's just their eyes. You look so dead. It's so cold.
If you like, I can rearrange some personnel to put someone else on your security detail. We're a bit short-staffed around here at the moment, and a lot of our best folks are away. And then there's the paperwork and endless oversight. There's been some trouble over with, well, you don't even know about that.
You weren't what I expected, you know.
You thought the Foundation would be different?
No, I thought you would be.
You'd heard of me?
Of what you've done, Procedure 110 Montauk, well, the people in my circles have done some dark things in their time, but that...
I merely did what was necessary, Dr. Spivak. Mr. Spivak. As a Foundation researcher, and as someone who doesn't want to see his loved ones die.
Yes, it's very like the Foundation, isn't it? Everything done is justified by what is necessary. You see the world, the people moving through it, living lives touched only by totalizing universal laws of society and physics. Everything has to be channeled through those laws, and that which lies outside it is to be contained. It's also very simple.
You wouldn't say that if you worked here.
Some of us called you evil. I don't think that's quite it.
That is kind of you to say. And to tell you the truth, I don't think you're quite what I expected either. Especially given your reputation.
I've been told I'm a hard person to get along with. Too cryptic, they say. One person even called me airy.
I don't think I'm gonna call you airy. Your head may be in clouds, but you seem to be mad at it, smug about it. Granted, not as smug as some delusional cultists who have passed through here. I suppose I should be thankful for that, at least.
I'll try not to take that as an insult, but this is what I don't understand. A procedure, 110 Montauk, it's not...
Hmm? Nah, I can't discuss that, I'm afraid. We must get on. Time and tide and all that rubbish. Please tell me what the children of the Scarlet King overall intention was.
The children are dead. There's not much left to tell you.
I would like to hear things in your own words.
Then I suppose you could say that our intention was to save the world.
And how are you planning to go about doing that?
By bringing the Scarlet King into this reality, of course. You know this already.
But how would that save the world?
Doctor, is this really necessary? You took away his daughters years ago and ended up killing most of them. You have already annihilated our society, and I'm sure you know all about what went on within it. You worshipped the king, pretending he was Satan or some other ancient god of evil. Our inner circle believe in violation as the ultimate holy act. We failed, and you and the book burners destroyed us, and the matter has been put to rest. Wait, hold on. Did
Yeah, he casually just said the R word was sacred to his people. And he's acting like they should just be let go.
No, like, did he used to be part of the Serpent's Hand? Because the Serpent's Hand calls GOC book burners.
A lot of other people could call them book burners too.
Yeah, it's just mainly well known that Serpent's
Think
Hand
about
calls them
this.
that.
If you're
Yeah.
part of a weird culty group, are you going to call them book burners because they've been destroying your evil culty group? Probably.
Yeah, I guess so.
What were you trying to say, Jerry?
Oh, I just said it was fine that they're angry at the Foundation since they're not exactly the nicest of groups, but I do find it ironic that in the same breath of him saying, let us go, he also admits that they thought doing the R word was a sacred act.
Yeah.
It's like, let us go, haven't you done enough damage? Also saying why they're horrible people.
Yeah.
You seem awfully calm while describing destruction of your life's work.
What else can I do? I know how this is gonna play out. Maybe I always did.
Why do you refer to Global Occult Coalition as the Book Burners? Were you and your group affiliated with the Serpent's Hand?
It's complicated.
That means they're not part of the Serpent's Hand.
Maybe.
It's a simple enough question.
But there isn't a simple enough answer. Still, yes, we were affiliated with the Serpent's Hand. Most of us passed through there at one time or another. They don't disavow us, of course, if you ask them about us. They're not monsters like we are. They have moral precepts, you see. Their whole point is to look for wonder, and still, they see no wonder in the king. They repudiate us, utterly. But they know deep down that they need us. No, they don't.
No, they don't.
Huh? What was that, Hatchet?
That word is repudiate.
Repudiate. Oh, repudiate. Got it.
They need you. What for?
For the same reason they let us live. We raided the library, fought them, skirmished with them. They had a huge quantity of dirt on us, far more than you do. But they never finished the job. They're as bad as you jailers in their own way. The same compartmentalization, the same singular goals. Their existence is based in nothing concrete. The empty time of history, that's all. Indeed, they came into being at the same time as you. You're more similar than you realize.
And that's impossible. The Serpent's Hand has been documented as existing long before the Foundation, and any incarnate.
No, you missed the point. The library's always been there, yes, but not the hand. The hand was something new, like you are. You think anybody ever cared about wonder in the old days? Nobody cared about wonder. They cared about food, family, and blood.
What's that supposed to mean?
It means, you wouldn't get it anyway, but the hand would. I think even the book burners do in their own way. The hand is sacred. They try to blind us out, forget us. We're what they should be, but never can be, you see.
No. I feel like the more I hear about their group, the more I hate them, but I think that's the point.
So this is something we didn't, when we did Children of Scarlet King, it's something we didn't find out. Like, nowhere on their hub did they say they had connection to the Serpent's Hand. So this is interesting. Well, as far as I can remember. Anyways.
Look, the Besh. I have tried to make things more comfortable for you. But we need some give and take. You're speaking in cliche, cryptic riddles, and I want some answers.
I can't tell you everything. You want to treat that information properly. You treat it as scientific fact, something to be swallowed, understood, contextualized.
And what is wrong with that?
Why are you doing this, Doctor? Why are you dredging this stuff up again?
I shouldn't tell you, but, screw it. I'm tired of this. I've been working on SCP-001 for 2 decades. Project lead for almost 9 years after I came up with the procedure. I don't know, I'm tired. Everywhere I turn, I see the Scarlet King, but nothing about him makes any sense. Some bighorn devil, arcane blood god. It's all so small, so obvious. Foundation has changed in the last decade, you see. We face conceptual demons, malevolent genre dwellers, sevenfold destroyers, all of which have been far worse than some old sacrifice deity. But there, behind everything, I see his smile and the fire. That old dread, it lingers. And this is, despite seeing the horrors far less easy, and far more subtle, trying to break the world on a daily basis. I just want to understand, I suppose. Peel back the layers and tales upon contradictory tales and find out who he really is.
You're being awfully candid.
To be honest, I've stopped caring. This job gets to you. Things you have to do, the regrets. Well, I'm too high up for anybody to touch me now. And I've run into too many dead ends to get hung up over protocol at this point. Just tell me something, Debesh. Anything.
Okay, look, I like you, Doc. You must be a cold-blooded bastard somewhere in there, or you wouldn't have come up with, well, who am I to judge, eh? I'll tell you where to start.
I'm all ears.
There are 3 things to understand about the Scarlet King. 3 laws, which when put together make a complete picture. 1 is the law of blood, 1 is the law of concrete, and 1 is the law of howling.
The 3 laws, eh? That the king set down for his followers, or that were imposed upon him.
Both. The first was his law, the second was somebody else's, and the third, well, you'll find out about the third when you crack the first 2.
Very cryptic.
That's all I can tell for you for now. You need to learn it the proper way.
That's really all you'll give?
That's all. There's a pause for several seconds.
Alright, Besh. Good talking with you, as ever.
End log. Document 2. The following is an extract of the memoirs of one of Jack Hurst, a defector from the Children of Scarlet King. Hurst was a high-level reality bender capable of entering the bodies of humans in the past and experiencing their thoughts and emotions firsthand. The following is a description of what Hurst called the Battle of Gamelith, purportedly a battle between 001 and his followers against a group called the Children of the Urns. Wait, is that a group of interest? Oh no, it's an SCP. Okay.
It looks like a people.
Yeah. Hurst apparently experienced battle from the perspective of a foot soldier in 001's army. These memoirs were written shortly after Hurst's death in 1976. They are among the first documents consulted by Dr. Montauk during his investigation. The fortress was a monumental made of volcanic rock and jagged iron and built in a vast mountain. Every measurement, every angle was calculated to promote the king's ideology. The steel slats and bars may have seemed to be jutting out in random half-sawn directions, but if you can see the whole, then you'll see the symmetry. It was perfect expression of cosmic order, expressed in endless sevens. It's a tough trip to remember, but bits and pieces came back. We were slaves, I think. We had been taken from a far-off land. The nobility looked down upon us with cruel eyes, but the king didn't care. He rewarded us, and so we were the instruments of his rule. When a village required the justice of the king, we would descend upon them with blood and iron. And the villagers feared us, and that felt right to me. But when the horde came, with fire burning in their cries of freedom, the villagers were still as scared as they had been of us. That was not the fear of their master, I think, but the fear of anarchy. They didn't know which way to turn, but in the end, most betrayed us. Most had their daughters taken by our master. Old rights, blood rights, arcane rights. But we stood upon the battlements, loyal to the last, our hearts bursting with happiness at the rightness of it all. I'm still not sure exactly what was going on. It was all so chaotic and full of red smoke. But I could feel my host's bloodlust. We stood and watched and waited. The sound of rubble and explosions came from across the hill, and the last battle begun. Then something strange happened. My host suddenly felt afraid, and he and I were somewhere else. The sky was not red, but black. I was not a slave, but a part of a constricted rabble. The peasants looked up at us. They were all starving. They held out their hands begging, pleading, praying. The wind was their master, and it screamed at them. The horde was coming, but they too were starving. Then the scene flickered back, and I was in the house again, under a scarlet sky. The king's voice raged. The rabble of his armies was fleeing to the gates, but they would not open. Our arrows coated in flame and pitch flew back again, but the horde was undaunted. In my mind, I could see nothing but the fire. The fire of the king. I drew my sword, we all drew our swords. We all charged into the fray. Then, as it were, the scene changed again. There are no battlements, only the dark sky, and the wind, a more ragged and lonely sky. Peasants pleaded and nomads laughed, cheered, wept. The wind will rage no more, they said. The two scenes shifted in and out. A red fort bled into a black field. I have ruminated on it a long time, but I think they were the same battle, seen through two different eyes, or at least the memories of two different battles. The whole thing felt strange. It was not like most of my trips. It was like a half-remembered cacophony, two ideas ripping at each other. There was a timeline showing what really happened. In that blackened wasteland, there was one that had been made to be true, imposed throughout time on the truth. Last thing I remembered was being sliced by a nomad's sword on a frail urn being held high of the 7 brides being ripped from a castle, or were they ripped from a field taken as the spoils of war by some obscure tribe in some lost steppe. I remember the king screaming, writhing, thrashing as he was sealed. And then I died, and woke up back at the ritual. For a second I wondered if the others had just made up the king and sent some image of him back to the past. But I don't think that was true. They lacked the power, and besides, it was never a total lie. There was something in that wicked wind that reminded me of some of the older rituals. It was then I decided to leave the children. I went that night without a word. They didn't stop me. Probably figured it wasn't worth the effort. They were so certain in the success of their mission, but I wanted no part of in that anymore. Things I said were based upon the law of blood, and I can only pray that they never come to pass. Document 3. The following is a log of all known attempts by anomalous groups to force 001's entry into Prime Dimension since Containment 231. January 3rd, 2009, Virtual Children of Scarlet King. Summoning an attempt to perform by the virtual smearing of blood and then destruction of rubble, recovered from the demolition of the Cochrane Gardens housing project complex at St. Louis, Missouri. It is believed that the Children of Scarlet King manipulated state officials into the demolition of over the course of several years, and that the splinter group continued their work as the original children went into decline. Result: attempt prevented by the Foundation raid. December 5th, 2012, Rent Guards appeared to be using blood, bones, and spinal fluid of several animals combined with the ritual chanting to create a portal to 001. A large number of SCP Foundation logos carved out of bone were placed on the original site in defense position. These logos were slightly incorrectly carved. Attempts not detected by any GOI and came extremely close to success. However, it appears a critical mistake in the words of ritual instead resulted in a large explosive blast, destroying all the assembled members of the guards. It remains unknown why the guards apparently wished to invoke Foundation protection for their ceremony. February 7th, 2014, Global Occult Coalition. Unknown. Unknown did not succeed. GOC records pertaining to the incident are missing, with the exception of the name Operation Historical Frontier, with a mission statement to exacerbate tensions of historical time in order to bring forth and destroy a significant occult threat. It is believed that several GOC operatives were killed in the attempt. Fucking dumbasses.
Exacerbate.
Huh?
Exacerbate.
Exacerbate. Got it. So the GUC fucked around and found out. Okay. Yeah. January 1st, 2017, Army of the New Dawn. Attempt involved in ritual burning of several calendars adhering to the Gregorian calendar, while members of the group raised up blood-soaked calendars adhering to the Julian, Hijri, and the Persian solar systems to an effigy of 001. Attempt prevented by members of the Serpent's Hand. All materials were recovered and taken to the Wanderer's Library. The GOC killing. L. So January 17th, 2017, the Serpent's Hand. Oh wait, not January. September 17th, 2017, the Serpent's Hand. Largely unknown, details are unclear, but it is believed it involved the highly selective destruction of particular books within the Wanderer's Library. The attempt was probably foiled due to the schism in the group, the resulting casualties severely damaged the library. Global Occult Coalition. Yeah. Anyways, document 4, the following is an interview between Dr. Robert Montauk and point person of interest 3172. Date, March 14, 2018. Interviewer, Dr. Robert Montauk. Interviewee, point person of interest 3172. Location, Site 713, interview room 2. Begin log. Hello again, Robert.
Hello, Debesh. I looked up your laws. I'm afraid I am none the wiser.
You'll get there. What did you find?
The law of blood. It referenced a few times in quite a few places, but I couldn't find any concrete information.
I worried you wouldn't.
There was only one source of real use, a description of something called a Battle of Gameleth, written by a defector of the children.
Ah, Hurst. Yes, I read his memoir once. The only genuine eyewitness to the king's sealing, although a rather unreliable one.
How on earth?
Oh, he embellished. He didn't leave straight away. I stumbled upon some early draft in his things shortly before he left. I was young back then, and I remember how passionately he argued after his vision. Said we got the king all wrong. That he wasn't a demon or a monarch. But that he was a voice on the wind. And when I was older, I figured it all out. I was surprised how close he got to the fuller understanding. He just wasn't quite there.
I should have guessed he was a liar.
He's not a liar exactly. Just a little lost. And you only have my word for it, Doctor. Which the Foundation has made abundantly clear it doesn't trust.
There's no reason to doubt you. What do you have to lose? You seem as eager for me to learn the truth as I am.
True, and on that note, I have a question if I may.
Shoot. Longer I keep you talking, the greater chance you'll slip up and tell me something you shouldn't.
Do you know why Procedure 110 Montauk actually works? There's a pause of several seconds.
Sorry, Depeche, I can't talk to you about that.
It's okay. I think I know the answer anyway. Tell me, did you lose someone?
I don't know what you mean.
I'm sorry to bring back painful memories, but I have looked at the Foundation archives too, you know. It was necessary back in the day. Had to check up on what you lot were doing to his daughters. I know that your brother...
Stop talking. This interview is not about my private affairs.
I'm sorry, Doctor. I didn't mean...
Please state for me the meaning of this law of blood.
Isn't it obvious? It's the same way the Scarlet King ruled. There is order, but it was through the imposition of an iron will on the peasantry, through armies of slaves, through a nobility bred to be cruel. The realities of this world of his day, in his corner of the globe.
What does this have to do with SCP-001's nature? What are their other laws?
I suggest you look into the second.
I don't have time to play with your games. Tell me now, POI 3172, or you will be escorted to solitary.
Oh, Dr. Montauk, I am sorry. You must look for the law of concrete. That is all.
This interview was terminated.
End log. Document 5. The following is a page from the 1891 report of Ancient de Beauvoir and Lost Foundation archives following the 1889 Starling coup. The report was lost shortly after the de Beauvoir's termination in 1985. Along with several other documents from the Foundation archives, this page was recovered through unknown means by Dr. Montauk. No other materials from the standard losses have been found. In summary, the documents lost are extremely extensive, covering a wide range of data concerning the Foundation's early history. Of particular note are several documents related to 001, which have gone missing. However, my investigations have provided me with a great deal of information. I believe that I can say with some certainty that the historical record as stated in Scranton's comprehensive history remains broadly intact, albeit with some modifications I'll detail below. Scranton's work states that the Foundation was founded in 1824 by a merger of 13 worldwide organizations with a particular interest in preventing awareness of anomalous activities. The most prominent of these were the Foundation of the Secure Containment of the Unnatural the Davenay Dewey, the United States of the Department of Unexplained Affairs, and the Council of 5 Overseers and the Committee of Paranormal Ethics. Scranton goes on to tell us that this was done in response to the threat posed by 001, and that the early Foundation had an extensive role to play in that anomaly's containment. However, documents that I have before are present a rather different picture. It appears that the Foundation was not founded in response to 001 at all. I indeed cannot find any references to the present 001 prior to 1826. It has appeared to have been a highly publicized attack by 173 in New York, which was the initial impetus for the Foundation's formation. 173 is still unresolved containment breach 1854 is, I believe, the reason for the alteration of the record. Scranton's embarrassment at... and it ends. Document 6. The following is a table compiled by Dr. Montauk. It showed a series of votes passed by the O5 Council correlated with incidents potentially or certainly involving 001. Great. Date of vote, July 9th, 1844. Description of vote. Vote to officially standardize documentation across the SCP Foundation passed 13-0. A series of hymns voted to 001 heard outside Site 001. February 1st, 1857. Vote to standardize containment procedures for 001 passed 12-1. All members of the O5 Council reported dreaming of an unidentified man of South Asian origin weeping. November 9th, 1895. Vote on the termination of Agent de Beauvoir passed 6-5 to abstention. Fuck. Abstentations, thank you. A large quantity of blood-stained sheets of paper with the words 001 written in blood over each sheet spontaneously manifested in the bedrooms of all members of the O5 Council. The blood was later identified to belong to both Agent de Beauvoir and an unknown species of poultry. October 10th, 1902. Vote on the implementation of the site system passed 10-2, 1 abstention. A location in North America saw sudden unexplained wildfires. Residents reported seeing dragons made of fire and a horned crown appear in the night sky above the area. The wildfires were found in 2007 and have begun at the location of the future Site 19. January 23rd, 1922. Vote on the containment procedures for 2317 passed 4-3, 6 abstentions. Several cracks appeared in the earth near containment area 179. Red smoke was seen pouring out of the crack for 7 minutes before the cracks abruptly closed. February 8th, 2011. Vote to unify the project previews of 001, 231, and 2317 passed 10-2, 1 abstention. A series of hymns devoted to 001 heard outside 001, interspersed with the sounds of laughter. March 31st, 2018. Vote on the object class reclassification of 2317 passed 9-4. Several interdimensional rifts open outside containment area 179. Users alternated between opening on Universe Kappa Erikish and opening onto an unknown dimension. This unknown dimension is characterized by the presence of... You okay?
Oh, sorry.
Just want to make sure you're okay. Yeah. This unknown dimension is characterized by the presence of large quantity of red smoke and unknown number of human voices screamed from within. Document 7. The following is an extract from 1972 political work Manifesto for Old Order by Children of Scarlet Key member Ariadne Cartwright. Cartwright's work is only found in unpublished copies of among Noah circles and groups related to 001. Fragments such as this were recovered by Dr. Montauk during the course of his investigation. The sin of modernity is vital to understand. It is not that we glorify the pre-modern. The suffering was very real and very extant. We must not fall into the trap of seeing the past as a series of beautiful Arcadias, full of dancing around maypoles and shepherds living in pleasant anarchy. The past was brutal, but it was also real. It wasn't really the pre-modern, too. That is merely how historians have characterized it. They are wedded to their theory of modernization and can conceive no alternate mode of development other than a singular drive towards the contemporary West, and the other modes of living seen as being stuck in some imagined earlier place on a timeline. It's all nonsense. People of the past are capable of seeing the world as it really is. Those who have joined the king's forces can all see this truth, that there is something very, very wrong with the world in which we live. Our buildings are made of calcifying, peeling concrete as we shamble each day, the jobs and lives created solely for the purpose of maintaining their own system. But there's no other way to live. Socialism, anarchism, syndicalism, There are little more than constructed pipe dreams, the frail thoughts of lesser men trying to impose their inadequate prejudices on the world around them. No,
Inadequated.
Inadequated. Okay,
Or antiquated.
got it. Now there's...
Like antique.
Hatchet said it the best, yeah.
Got it. Now there's only one alternative way to live. To cast down the laws of concrete is to raise up the law of blood. You must learn what it is to die. To be enslaved, truly brutally enslaved, with no compassion or compunction from our masters. We must learn what it is to be taken towards a single purpose, to know and truly understand our lack of agency. We must be beholden to a world of gods, a darkness. The tempest taught us the refuse of a race of fools. We must kill modernity, postmodernity, and with all its analysis and steering observation. There's only one rule. Rule of chaos. For humanity, for life, for the Scarlet King. No.
So, in, like, leftist circles, a common statement is that when capitalism gets to its final conclusion, we have either to choose socialism or barbarism. The barbarism in this case generally being interpreted to mean fascism, because fascism is interpreted as the final stage of, like, a final stage of capitalism trying to hang on to its power. This guy says, fuck that, what if we do extra hyper barbarism?
Yeah. Where the nobility is cruel, slaves do the bidding of the king and become his weapon while being treated like slaves, and one of the holiest things is to do the bad touch on people.
Is like, you know, most, like, my brain. Most fascists, like, don't actually acknowledge that there's anything wrong in the first place with capitalism. This guy's like, oh yeah, we know capitalism has its problems. We're just gonna make them worse.
Now for the final law of concept. The howling. Which will basically explain why it's safe class for Hatchet.
Uh,
There. Right? Document 8. The following is an interview between Dr. Robert Montauk and person of interest 3172. Date, April 29th, 2018. Interviewer, Dr. Robert Montauk. Interviewee, POI 3172. Location, Site 713, Interview Room 2.
Hello, Depeche.
Hello, Dr. Montauk. I hope that our last meeting...
I am sorry for my unprofessional behavior. You touched upon a sore subject.
Of course. I'll try to refrain from doing so in the future.
Shall we begin?
This time, Doctor, I have a question for you.
Indeed. I suppose it can't be worse than your last.
Well, what do you know about the origins of the Scarlet King?
There are many theories. A creature from the abyss, some shambling thing of old, a denizen of Alagata.
They are all, I will not say lies, but the texts have changed. The knowledge has changed. The past itself has been changed by what came after.
He has changed the past.
No, his past has changed for him. But now you tell me something. This should be a give and take after all.
That is not what.
Why did you approve the Montauk procedure? There is a pause here for several seconds as Dr. Montauk stares at POI 3172. I am sorry if I have offended you.
I thought I made it clear that this is none of your business.
See, the thing I don't get is that it should not have worked. Not in a way the Foundation does.
This is not under discussion.
What happened to Jacob, Doctor? What happened to your brother?
This interview is...
Oh, all right. I am sorry. I'm not trying to hurt you, Doctor. Truly. I just want to understand. It's just... It shouldn't have worked. The child should have been born. There is a pause for several seconds.
I was angry when I drew it up. It was unprofessional.
Did you think we took Jacob?
Well, what the hell was I supposed to think? I started looking into your log, making discovery, then he Look, this isn't relevant.
Alright, I'm sorry, yes. But can we agree that it was not a decision made scientifically? That it was done in a moment of fury, rage, hate?
I didn't. The girl, I didn't mean to.
But you did, Doctor. Look, I'm sorry. I don't mean to dredge these old wounds up for you.
Why are you that?
Because I want you to understand. Now I think you do.
How?
I don't know where to begin. Let me go back. I don't think your department has had very much activity in recent months. Not after the Hands attempt to open the gates, right? Your procedure keeps the girl from giving birth, the nomads keep fighting their endless war, the spears are safely locked away by the book burners and the devourer. Well, there's nothing you can really do but devour now, is there?
2317 isn't 001.
Wasn't 001. But the thing is, you've been telling everyone he is. Technically, you're meant to think that he is. If I understand the Foundation's hierarchies correctly, you are the only level 4 after all.
I don't understand.
Across every culture in every city and tribe and civilization, you've come across the idea of the Scarlet King. Always the same, an emperor in red with a burning crown, and an ethos rooted in some archaic fear of female sexuality. He is always the same, a monster is all-consuming and terrible, What is so understandable? Big bad thing in the dark, full of rape and fire and old blood ritual. Does it never strike you as odd that this is the thing behind the eyes? You face monsters far grander, more subtle, as you told me yourself. But always there's that lingering fear and knowledge of this hidden, but oh so simple, thing standing behind it all.
You know, it strikes me as odd. I told you as much myself, but I also stopped trying to make sense of our world a long time ago. And no one wants to stop play by the rules of man. I'm too old to start redefining the universe.
But the thing you don't remember or don't know is that there wasn't the only past. Scarlet King used to be something very different. He wasn't a monarch. He wasn't always red. He was the whisper on the wind that kept the peasants working, starting up in fear by his righteous famine. He was the inborn knowledge of the world of gods and demons which bellied in human agency and existed beyond us. He was the cold hunger of a famine that had no rhyme and reason, but the cold apathy of the supernatural beyond us. And given enough belief, he could be devoured too. He is a creature of truth.
You mean he transformed from one type of deity to another?
Scarlet King is not a deity, Doctor. Scarlet King is an idea.
What? But he's real, physical, we've seen.
I cannot tell you any further. Not yet. You find anything about the law of concrete?
No, not much. I found out there seems to be a disturbing correlation between the activities of the King's followers and certain decisions made by the Council.
See.
But there wasn't much else at all. The trail led me to some lost documents. But eventually all I found was a dead end, a document by the Foundation's origins, and some insane old child ranting on about modernity.
Cartwright, I presume. That makes sense.
You are a maddening, infuriating person, you know. Why can't you just tell me the stuff properly?
I am your prisoner. You did destroy my life's work. Why should I help you?
Because you're bored. Because you think none of this matters. And because you love tormenting.
I don't, you know.
Scarlet King is an idea. What the hell is that meant to mean?
You're close now, Doctor. Close to the truth. I can see it in you. You'll understand, and then you'll understand me. Why I did what I did. Why I was a member of the children. I know you're curious.
You do seem oddly well adjusted to be a Satan worshipper.
Be careful, Doctor. The law of howling may break you.
Shut. As cryptic as ever, Spivak. Alright, until next time.
Goodbye, Doctor. Document 9. The following is a translated excerpt from 1953 Bengali work Lala Raja. The work had been lost for some time and rediscovered by Dr. Montauk in the course of his investigation. And so, as British rule continued, something began to come with them. Piece by piece, a shadow at first, a red thing, but it was not whole. It was not even in pieces. It was something that crept up slowly, piece by piece. It meant the shadows of our country, the mice bleeding in the rice fields, and it began to take form. It didn't have a mind, not at first. It wasn't enough of a real thing yet to have one. It was a set of images. It was a blood-red slab of skin, taken from the heart of some Christian demon, which was set upon the ancient magician of Hindu rites. But then it was categorized, written down, described with precise scientific terminology. It didn't like that. Things of magic, technology, empire that were never meant to mix all came together and began to bend the nature of the world. As Europe came to us more and more, as we learned to be civilized, our religion began to change too. Anastasia, the giant 3000, was not an ancient or capricious god in the form of an immense snake. It was a moray eel of scientifically unusual size, noted for producing amnesiacs, an antiquated term for amnestics, used for some Foundation sites at this time, and causing a cognitive hazardous effect. We learned that we were Hindu, that we always had been Hindu, and that all of our various and mixed beliefs were all variations of a singular ideal, because the British weren't comfortable enough with another way of living which cannot be classified, explained, killed like a butterfly, pinned to a board. But beneath this lay of fury, a cry for authenticity, for reality, even as we expressed ourselves more and more in their language, in their categories, even in our struggle against them, it lay in our literature, in Tagore and the others. It lay in our Ada, a Bengali social gathering involving a group of friends, usually but not exclusively male, meeting up for extended discussion of literature, social relations, and other aspects of life. These often took place over a course of several hours. In our menial jobs as clerks, the endless struggling tension between old and new, between modernity and pre-modernity, and those fault lines in the cry of rage and fury in our hatred of the old and the hatred of the new, those rose a hybrid obeying nothing but the law of the howling. There rose the La Raja. Because what he is but the cry of a forgotten age, he is a British peasant, staring up at the red sky, the Bengali windows weeping and shaven head, the Aztec priest ripping out another's heart. He is all of those things transformed as modernity does to everything, into modernity's own destruction. He is the resistance, the fury, the hatred of all that was for all that presently is. What we were was full of good and evil, and all mixed together, the happiness and beauty of the world, the struggles and heartache and reality of it all. But now we have lost almost all of it to the machine, except our rage. That's all that's left, and thus comes the king. The hell of the destroyed and forgotten and oppressed. Its only purpose is destroy, rape, maim, enslave, and smile. Smile. Smile, that smile of the king whose enemies weep before him. He cannot exist where there is no modernity, because his entire purpose is given to him by modernity. He is a god of blood, a god of spine and bone and sinew, to remind the denizens of the world that it is not good. It is cruel and hateful, and that is good. That is right. Modernity is a sin, and he is the correction, so that we can once again live as we must, cold and hungry and starving and very, very afraid.
It sounds like that the Scarlet King is basically something that is scared of the modern age rather than some like randomly evil. He's still evil, but he's evil because he hates the modern world.
Yeah. Document 10. The following. No?
I feel like it's less inherently that he hates he's evil because he hates the modern world. He hates the modern world because he hates a world in which there is less human suffering.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes more sense. So he's angry that the modern world has less suffering.
Yep.
Yeah,
At the very least, in a small handful of pockets.
Yeah. Right. Document 10. The following note was found in Dr. Montauk's personal quarters. It is believed to have been written shortly after Dr. Montauk's discovery of Lala Raja. SCP-001 is a conceptual entity created by the boundaries of the modern and pre-modern. 001 is a physical being made manifest in a conceptual. 001 originated in ancient Turkmenistan. It is believed that it is originally a Scythian deity who...
Is there a reason why you're not reading the crossed out stuff?
Oh, I was just Oh, I guess I can read it crossed out stuff, sorry.
Yeah, there's stuff going on there.
Yeah, alright. Promer, the king is thing of blood and bone and sinew. I'm not sure if that's supposed to be Liss. I've never seen that word before. It's like L-I-S.
I think it says his.
It's his. The H's bar is
Oh, yeah.
having one that's crossed out.
It's too blended
Would
in.
you like me to read it?
No, I got it.
Oh.
I thought it was Liz for a second, like, I Liz role. Like,
No,
what?
no.
Yeah. His role is just in the Justice of the Dark. SCP-001 is a creature, emperor, physical being, made manifest and conceptual. He comes with fear and a sword dripping with the wrath and fire. 001, designated in ancient Turkmenistan, is believed that it was originally a Scythian deity who they rode with thunder in their hooves and a bow on their backs, laughing as they slaught. 001 is a scientific phenomenon. It will be classified, it will be contained, described, it will be understood as an anomalous entity as with every other but he exists in the cracks, the fault lines. He feeds on description, he feeds on science, on the objective principles and qualities. 7 chains, 7 brides, 7 seals for Scarlet. I am Robert Montauk, level 4 researcher project lead on 001. I am a researcher. I impose my solid mechanical will. I am in control. I possess agency. I am a quivering thing, looking up at a dark and clouded sky, fearing the Almighty God. I am free. I am chained. I am a doctor. I am a child. Document 11. On May 22nd, 2010, a large crack appeared on the wall of POI 3172's containment chambers. The crack appeared to open on another dimension. A large quantity of red smoke could be seen pouring out of it, while an unknown number of human voices could be heard screaming from it. Foundation staff found themselves unable to enter POI 3172's containment chamber. POI 3172 informed them that he would only permit Dr. Montauk's entry into his chamber and would communicate with nobody else. After some debate, Dr. Montauk was permitted entry into the containment chamber to interview POI 3172. A log can be found below. Date, May 22nd, 2018. Interviewer, Dr. Robert Montauk. Interviewee, POI 3172. Location, Site 713, Human Light Containment Chamber 77. Dr. Montauk enters the chamber and approaches POI 3172. POI 3172 is standing in front of a jagged crack in a far wall. Red light and smoke can be seen emerging from this crack.
Hello there, the Fish.
Hello, Doctor.
Always formal, even to the last, aren't you? Can I ask you what this is?
A plea for attention, mostly. I wanted to see you again, and my requests were all denied. It's been weeks, Doctor.
I have nothing to ask you.
I thought so. Have you deduced the truth? You have deduced the truth, haven't you?
Maybe. Yes.
The crack shrinks slightly.
Did that just...
It grows and shrinks depending on the situation. Different actions have different meanings and thus different effects. It all depends on context. The other children never got that, but, well, they never got anything really. They thought we were all devil worshippers, heading for violation. Only I understood the point.
And it took me a while to understand.
I didn't think you would.
Just tell me, did the procedure even matter? What we do, is it even relevant?
To prevent the birth, it had to be something awful. Something evil expressed in pain and rage and fury, which is why it worked. It was never a sincere attempt to formulate a scientific procedure on your part. It was just pure, unadulterated hatred wrapped in a veneer of objectivity. You thought the king had taken your brother, so you decided to hurt the king. You didn't, of course, and what you do each day to that poor little girl is a little more than mere cruelty, but effective cruelty. The specifics are unimportant, but the intent that matters for everything.
I should stop it. I didn't.
And then what? Foundation won't get it. They will never understand the law of howling.
If I explain.
They can't imagine it. It's beyond their conception of reality. But you might. So tell me, Doctor. Do you know why the Scarlet King exists?
Because modernity and pre-mod.
No. Because the SCP Foundation exists. Modernity helped shape him, define the contours of his rage, but it was when modernity started interfering with his kingdom that he was crystallized. Modernity in the form of you. Your lot came first. You came into being and lock away, classify, pin down everything that didn't fit into your philosophy of enlightenment, rationality. Everything had to be understood, contextualized, transformed from varied godhood to simple, comprehensible chunks of logic and matter. It's abhorrent, and it could never go on forever. Something had to give. Something had to rise up in opposition.
We were first, truthfully. I know that brave you are had. Was this whole thing really our fault?
That depends. Is it your fault if you don't know you're doing it?
I don't know.
Neither do I.
The ceremonies, they all held that contrast.
The king cannot exist without that tension. We needed those symbols of modernity, those stark gray images to make the rift in the first place. It was the perfect plan.
But you failed.
Yes. There was a pause for several seconds.
The Foundation was formed in the 1820s. It was formed to protect the world from the dark by a collection of brave men and women to secure, contain, protect. That is our purpose. There is a virtue in normalcy, which I don't think you can see. The world can be understood. Truth, reason, rationality. The Enlightenment. These are our bedrock. These are what have allowed us to see what is objective.
Do you really believe that?
I have to.
You're a scientist. You should know that there's no such thing as objectively true finding in any science. There's always room for doubt, always space for error.
But that's just humanity. We may have flawed minds and capable of full interpretation, but what we've observed is solid and real. Beneath it all, the laws, the bedrock.
Bedrock is defined by the number 7. 7 chains, 7 brides, 7 seals, 777. My whole life's been defined by that number. It tortures me. Endless hexagonal shapes dancing around my eyes. We're not allowed to live. We're not allowed to be people. That is the luxury of modernity. Despite its coldness and its freaking wounds, to be able to be a full person. 777. 7 girls taken away by raiders in the cold. That's the wind demon howled in hell. So the Scarlet King had to have 7 brides.
Modernity is not always cruel, cold. It's less brutal than slavery.
But what is it for? Is that the only purpose, a mere absence of brutality? What's the point of having peace and kindness for its own sake, so you can smile a few decades before falling dead into an empty grave? Self-affirmation for a finite self? I don't understand it. Never did. I grew up trying. I wanted to be like them, like you, but the system just stared down at me with contempt. Maybe it's not coldness, Doctor. Coldness seems too objective. It can't be that, because there's no objectivity. There's just screaming and the madness and the need for purpose.
Did you really think that nothing is true?
There's truth, but it's never final. There's no ultimate reality, Doctor. No no total, no totality, no concrete way in which the world is run. There's just what we make of it. The clay things we bind together and glue making clay.
All this introspection.
The crack in the wall grows larger. The sound of screaming can be heard.
Who is in there with?
Who knows? His 7 brides, his loyal nomads, ancient servants, more creations of the gap between realities. I don't know anymore. It all breaks down at the end. All I see is anymore is the fire. I don't see the world or gods or kings. I don't see anything but the flames. What else is there? This stuff? Matter and physical, all banal and all fake? I only see the smile of my king, forge out the burning and frail matter. It's a sight that hurts. It hurts so much behind the eyes. It's burning, it's being consumed, and it's never ever finished. And why?
Then why not stop worshipping him?
I was a frail thing. I was born in the cold and the dark. I tried my hand at writing when I was very young. I tried my hand at many things, bartering, starving, surviving marketplaces of Calcutta. Like so many of us struggling to live while you Westerners grew fatter on our forgotten wealth, I grew mad. There was no meaning, no purpose in a country born to be ripped apart. I tried. The gods, they were silent. I tried reason and atheism, but they were just empty and unreal. Because they were always going to be because...
Don't say it.
You have to hear it.
I don't want...
No. Listen, Robert. Just listen. You know what the Sky King is. He is a creation of swirling anomalies of so many different times all over the world. He is the memory of the world that is lost, the pre-modern world made manifest in a form of hatred for modernity, the new and humanism, smiling coldness that marks our day existence, forged for a perfect balance of irreconcilable anomalies in our breaking minds. He is an entity created by his overwhelming, unavoidable tension of the hell of the old world when faced with the cold, gray, purposeless new. He is a revenge of our fallen past. He is the idea of the ancient in the world which scars and fetishes it.
He is a tension between the modern and pre-modern made manifest.
Yes, he is a fault line between two irreconcilable worlds, and he can only, in the end, destroy them all, and that is what is right. There's another pause for several seconds.
What do we do now?
You shoot me, let them take my corpse, go back to your life. It won't last long now. The king is coming, it's inevitable. Us might try to do something to stop it, but it won't work. Foundation has too much at stake, too much resting on the preservation of their ethos. They will coat the world in concrete gray, and the king will rise from the ashes, and the children won't even have to lift a finger.
I don't believe you.
Believe what you like. Come, Doctor. I think it's time. Dr. Montauk takes out his firearm and points at GOI 3172.
Just tell me one more thing. Was it you who took Jacob?
No. We had no idea who he was. Dr. Montauk terminates POI 3172. The crack disappears. Document 12. The following is record of O5 Council Vote number 4985. Council Vote 4985. Vote to approve suggestions made by Dr. Robert Montauk on Foundation operating procedures for improved containment of 001. Proposed by O513 on May 30th, 2018. Or O52, O56, O57, O510, and O513. Against O51, O53, O58, O59, 511, O512, abstain, O54, and O55. Vote denied. Statement by O51. Dr. Montauk's investigations have been most illuminating. There are certainly raised serious concerns about how the Foundation has been operating in recent years, but we feel that his suggestions go too far. The ethos of the Foundation is comprehension. Postmodern nations of the fallibility of subjective universal truths are all very well in academic circles, but the Foundation has always been first and foremost concerned with the practicalities, based its analysis on the hard sciences and unquestionable truths. Changing our intentions and modus operandi is frankly an absurd proposition. Our duty is and always has been to die in the dark to protect those in the light. If we begin to abandon or redefine the notion of what dark and light are, we risk a sharp descent into tyranny, incoherence, and the loss of our mission entirely. This must not happen. We cannot engage in cavalier redefinitions of what the Foundation's very essence is. We thank Dr. Montauk for his work, and we will be currently updating 001's classification as safe. As a result of it, containing 001 is no longer as difficult as it once was. Despite its potential danger, if Montauk's information is correct, then it seems clear to us what the Foundation should simply take a mere fair attitude towards 001's containment. We look forward to a more productive containment relationship with our oldest anomaly going forward. So, do you understand why it's safe now, Hatchet?
I mean, yes, you just read the whole thing. No shit,
Yeah.
I can understand it.
Yeah. So, yeah. Alright. So, this file, which says found not found.
May I read it?
You want to read it? Sure. Go ahead.
I watched, hidden, as their bulldozers came. Prime land wasted on trees, they said. They ripped them up, sliced their roots, took them away to be made into chairs and other monotonies? That is what it says. That's weird. Okay, I have no idea what. And other monotonies. Should I look it up?
What, monotonics?
Yeah, I have no idea what that is.
Monotonics? Where the fuck did you get monotonics?
Yeah, monotonous. And unless it has a different pronunciation.
When I look in OBS, it looks like a C to me. But when I go onto here, because I had OBS open, because I was typing in chat, I didn't see that it was an E.
I'm gonna first look up how to pronounce it because.
Yeah, just.
My bad. That's my bad.
The pronunciation is apparently monotonies. What? I have to listen to a person say that.
Monotonies.
Oh, monotonies. I was mispronouncing it. It's monotonies.
Okay, so with that context, I can guess that it means things
It
that are
means that it's
mundane.
boring.
Yeah.
It's monotonous. It's boring.
Yeah.
Chairs, tables, boring. Which I think is stupid to call boring because they're essentials. But this is the Scarlet King, so I'll go back to reading. Sorry about that pause. I just don't like it when I run into something I don't understand.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah.
Probably just like all the times as a small child I was mocked for like not being able to read something or understand something.
You're fine.
I think that's made an effect on my brain.
Mhm.
Okay. They ripped them up, sliced their roots, took them away to be made into tables, chairs, and other monotonies. Then, over weeks and months, they flattened it. They poured concrete into the rest. It was scraped, shaped, cut into neat little squares, arranged precisely in an orderly fashion. Walls rose up, great walls of concrete, windows, their measurements precisely regulated. A series of standard bricks and other parts. Construction crews, workmen, and all the rest working efficiently and precisely for a long time, filling into the details, the furnishings, and precise abstract wallpaper and everything else that went into making a facility. Finally, it was finished. One single new tree had been planted into the center of the central courtyard. Not enough, not through any sense of whimsy or delight, but to give those within a little sense of nature, of reality in the center of the gray, to keep them sane, nothing more. A precisely mandated allowance for the improvement of human mental health until they can find a way out, until they can find out a way to phase that out entirely. I watched and thought about it that we had done. I thought about the world they wanted. I thought about their spinelessness. I knew what good was and what evil was. I saw none of it in either of them. I thought about hollow men made of straw, plastered together with thick paste and sold in hundreds, thousand identical ways, thousand identical shops. I thought about what we had lost, and I howled. At night, the day before the site's grand opening, I dug up the seeds of the tree and replaced them with a seed of my own devising. And over 231 will stand a thing of blood and bone and sinew, a tree that drips and leers, feeds. It will drip strange fire, and the fire will both burn and warm in equal measure. They will look up at it and wish they had listened while they had the chance. I know this path is wrong, but at least it is a path. With thoughts and prayers, Robert Montauk, child of the Scarlet King. Oh!
Huh.
Oh! That was. Oh.
Yeah, the reason why I said was they recently, because I remember reading this back in, I think maybe 2020. This wasn't here, because look right here, July 5th, 2024. See, yeah, a lot of new shit is updated.
A lot of the new things made sense.
Mm-hmm.
And that made sense, but that was one of the new things I did not see coming.
Yeah. Also, Keelan really liked when I went like this. Goodbye, Doctor. Keelan liked me doing that character. Yeah. I seem to be. I can get way too into doing like creepy characters that when I do the other characters, I don't give them as much emotion, and I think I gave that character too much emotion than the other than the Doctor. I didn't mean to. But anyways. Robert Montauk, is a child of Scarlet King now. Oh, part of the group.
It was a newer thing added to the article.
Yeah,
I
that was
wish
a newer
there
thing.
was a way to add, like, true evil. I know it doesn't fit under law, neutral, or chaotic. I mean, the idea of a true neutral. And honestly, it could stay in chaotic evil, but
No, not the brother, the Doctor. The brother's
no, I'm
name is
talking about
Jacob.
the Scarlet King.
I was responding to Keelan. Keelan was asking, like, the brother was Frank Jones. We don't know what happened to them.
I tend to ignore Keelan.
Oh no! Anyways. So yeah, where are we putting this Scarlet King? Should we just make a new tier?
No.
Like, King of Evil?
Nah.
Chaotic evil.
Chaotic Evil?
I was thinking more neutral evil.
Yes.
That's true. They may be chaotic, but they have their own reason. Chaotic.
Like,
I don't
like
agree
it's very
with it, but
His evil is very structured, while
Hmm.
simultaneously he exists in a very chaotic nature.
Alright, so
Yeah.
we're gonna put him at the very beginning of neutral evil.
Yeah.
Put you right
Oh.
there.